This segment is brought to you by Gin Gators. We sink our teeth into service.
Hello and welcome back to this edition of Bayou Time. Again, your host, Keith Whiteside, licensed clinical social worker with Terrebonne Home Care. Very glad you're joining us, however you may be joining us. We appreciate it. And always very glad to have with us in studio Chief of Police Travis Terrio. Travis, thanks for being here.
I'm glad to be here.
All right. Boy, HPD has been awfully busy.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of the work these guys have done. They've accomplished a lot in the last week or so and over the last few months.
Yeah. Let's talk about Curtis Tucker, a black male, 37 years old.
So yesterday, shortly after lunchtime, our units responded to an armed robbery, a report of armed robbery, and actually in downtown Houma.
Yeah.
And when they arrived, they got a really good description of the individual, and our units kind of started scavenging the area, seeing what they could find. He went in and led the complainant to believe that he had a firearm on him. Ended up stealing the purse and taking off on foot into the area. As a result, they were able to locate him near McKinley and Park, and he was taken into custody without incident. Again, this is a very scary thing that happened, but I tell you what, I'm pretty proud of the work that these guys did in bringing, this suspect into the custody less than 20 minutes after the robbery occurred.
Wow. I tell you, it doesn't get any faster than that. It really doesn't.
No, I'm very proud. They had a great showing of teamwork out there yesterday. They went out there. We had a lot of new officers that were out there. They really did some old school police work, and they went out there and they talked to the community. The community gave them some information, gave us an idea of where he was at. They found him, took him into custody without incident, and we got a bad individual off the street.
I love it. I love it. That one took place very quickly. This next one, you guys spent a lot of time with, 4 months of investigation. Let's talk about the gentleman that was this narcotics division, what they did.
So while that was taking place with the robbery investigation, the department was split, and they were trying to conclude a 4-month-long investigation on Ashlawn Street, where hundreds of pounds of marijuana had been circulating through this one residence. As a result of that investigation, there were 3 individuals arrested: Craig McKinley, James Lacard, and Rashad Smith. Recovered almost 20 pounds of marijuana, seized I think close to $25,000 in cash.
Right.
Seized a couple vehicles, and people downplay this and they think, hey, it's just marijuana, but look, this legalizing medical marijuana and still street sales distribution is not the same thing, and that's never going to be legal, and it's never going to be acceptable in the city of Houma.
Right.
And again, they would have worked of our narcotics agents over this several months long investigation, bringing a conclusion to it. I'm extremely proud of the work that they did as well, and working as a team along with the many other divisions of the Houma Police Department.
Right, and you guys were working with lots of other people in jurisdictions as well.
Yeah, look, and just to name them, they were going outside of the jurisdiction. We had several agencies that we would like to thank. I mean, look, also involved with it was the Louisiana State Police, the division of the Houma Field Office of Homeland Security Investigations, Thibodeau Police Department Narcotics Division, St. Mary Sheriff's Office Narcotics Division, and the Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Office all worked together to bring some closure to this drug ring.
And quite frankly, it ended up being total 100 pounds of marijuana, $300,000 street value, $50,000 in currency, and about $50,000 in assets in evidence, and so which was terrific. So, Chief, again, credit to your guys and your team and what they were able to do. Let's talk about this next one that we have a little bit more information on as well.
So this is another extended investigation that occurred at 230 and a half Knockin Street, where we did some undercover purchases out of this residence of crack cocaine. And last week we concluded that with a search warrant being executed on the residence without incident. Taken into custody at that location was a Terrence Mosley, and he was arrested for illegal carrying of a weapon in the presence of CDS, illegal possession of a stolen firearm, transaction involving drug proceeds, possession of a firearm with obliterated serial numbers, possession of marijuana, possession of CDS2, and 4 counts of distribution of crack cocaine. So he was putting something toxic on the streets of Houma, and they were able to conclude that as well and get him into custody. Biggest thing, nobody got hurt.
Yeah, again, all of these without incident. All of these situations came to resolution very peacefully.
And that's what we want. That is always the goal of the police department.
Right. We need your guys to be safe. We need the community to be safe. And the only way our community can be safe is if we kind of listen to what's going on. Let's talk about some of this traffic that's been caused by some of the bridges being out.
Right. So the police department, and we're well aware of the traffic issues that are occurring. Mostly on the east side of Houma. It's on the west, but the east side's really inundated with traffic right now. We are aware of that. We are doing what we can to move the traffic. You can only move so much traffic in that area.
Right.
You know, it's almost like having a Mardi Gras parade every day and you having to clear it up every afternoon.
Right.
So we're putting people in areas to try and relieve the pressure on it and move it. They may see an officer that is sitting in a car and they're sitting there for a reason, not directing traffic. Sometimes if we put that officer in that intersection and direct traffic, we're going to make things worse.
Slow things down.
That is to have eyes on the ground, letting us know and give us real updates on what's happening.
Right.
In the event that that traffic is going to get backed up, we're going to divert it somewhere else.
Right.
We're also going after inattentive drivers with texting and driving, because that causes problems in all that traffic. We're still going to keep doing that. We're going to keep assessing it. We need people to just cooperate. And the biggest thing, be patient.
Be patient.
There's nothing we can do to make this traffic go away.
Right.
But we always need to be a little patient.
Chief, we appreciate your guidance and your direction. Thanks so much. Thanks for having those guys, boots on the ground, everybody getting some resolution safely.
Thank you.
All right, guys, that'll do it for this particular segment of Bayou Time, but don't go anywhere. I got a whole lot more right here.
This segment was brought to you by Gin Gators. We sink our teeth into service.